Guten Tag. If things are going to plan, this is Thursday morning and you're listening to the Revista de la Liga preview for the Nations League second semi-final, Spain versus France. But even though I am the man who put odd into Odyssey, I'm not going to lie to you, Uncle Bryn. This is Wednesday morning. It's about 6ish. I've been in Spain for approximately 5.5 hours since landing from Madrid last night or this morning or whatever the hell it was. And I'm back on the road again, Barcelona to Stuttgart. It's a city I know moderately well, having been there in the 2006 World Cup to work, and last summer when Spain eliminated Germany, I'm pretty sure, Germany, in the Euros. The prize? Well, I haven't done my research on this, but I can't remember any national team winning a trophy 3 consecutive summers. Is that a frippery? Maybe it is, but some stats shine and gleam and say, come and get me. They won the Nations League 2 summers ago. They won the Euros last summer. And this is a title that they really want to get. During the day, as I build this video, I'm going to be reminding you that there's no AYMERIC Laporte, there's no Rodri, there's no Carvajal, there's no Ferran Torres, and there's no Ayoce Perez. Does that matter? Or indeed, how much does that matter? Against a French side which hasn't been rampant, but whose players are rampant. If you think about the form in which Mbappe, Desiree Doué, Dembélé and Barcola specifically all finished the season. As the day goes on, I'll be heading towards the Stuttgart Stadium, the Stuttgart Arena. Tonight I'll be talking to De La Fuente and to Pedri. So rude. Years and years I've spent asking her not to interrupt like this, and what do you get? Kids today. See you in Germany. Made it as far as the Stuttgart Arena. And I've been greeted in the city, not just in the stadium, by very, very Scottish weather. Take a look. It kind of feels like October in Glasgow. Grey, clammy and raining. Perfect football weather. Perfect football weather. Look, I don't propose to give you a news briefing on the French press conference, but Ibrahima Konate spoke, and so did Deschamps. Both of them in really light spirits. The issues for them seem to be, well, they were pressed, both of them, perpetually on Ousmane Dembélé or Lamine Yamal for the Ballon d'Or. And they both spoke very respectfully about Lamine Yamal and tried to avoid any accusations of talking him down, like Rabiot was accused of last year, and which Lamine says inspired him. Whether Rabiot actually did belittle Lamine in the build-up to the Euro semi-final or not, I'm not sure. But media, well, you know what they're like, and it worked for Lamine. It did inspire him. He bore a grudge, and he loved the fact that it was Rabiot that he danced past as he scored into the top corner. Now look, Camavinga, Koundé, Upamecano, and who's the other defender? Saliba, all out. They were asked about that a lot. Konate obviously said, well, I expect to play, and there are choices everywhere, and I trust the coach. Deschamps was much more pungent. He said, look, ideally when you're playing a team like Spain, you have all your footballers, and I've lost kind of my back line over the last 2 years. But he was in a very upbeat mood, and part of that is to do with he's got a wonderful dilemma. And he said, look, I'm not going to tell you my front line, but it has been a food for thought, because he's mentioning the fact that Ousmane Dembélé, whether all of them drink or don't, and I don't think Dembélé does, but Barcola, Doué, Dembélé, for sure, plus presumably Warren Zaire, Lucas Hernandez, various different players. There's another one I've missed, have been celebrating a lot, whereby Pavard and Lucas Hernandez, you think about them in terms of when they cope with the disappointment of losing or not having featured. Equally Thuram, who had a so-so game, a much less effective game in the final than he had in both legs, half injured against Barcelona. So Deschamps said, yeah, look, there are dilemmas for me, there are things to work on. But he felt full of brio, he felt full of confidence. And he said, our job is to try and stop Spain enjoying possession. They were better than us in certain domains last year, I won't deny that. Our job is to make life difficult for France. There are 15 minutes of open training. I'll record a little bit of it for you, and then it's on to Spain. Can you hear it? Not the drums, Fernando. Can you hear the rain fucking tipping down? It's June. WTF. I'll tell you something. It's good for the football, it's good for the Ducks, it's good for the ball moving quickly. But it doesn't fucking impress me. Hello Port Glasgow. Hello Galway. We've got your weather. Do you want it back? Here come the keen ones. It's bucketing and they're 20 minutes late for training, but out they come. That guy's making me feel, nah, not ancient, but I remember going to Juventus games as a reporter and interviewing Didier Deschamps. I equally remember going to UEFA headquarters for the elite coach forum and interviewing him there in the very early days of his coaching career. And here he is now, potentially, if not in his last tournament. I don't know if he stops now and hands to Zidane for the World Cup or goes through to the World Cup. But we're nearing the end of his reign as France coach. Very successful and very controversial it's been. Anyway, they all look robust enough to me. Some of the Champions League final heroes are out there. Clearly they're going to miss the injured defenders that I talked about. But how much? That's the question. It's the spirit of the team. Spain are missing hugely important footballers too. It's about who's freshest, who's brightest, who has their moment tomorrow night, who makes the football sing and dance. No, I'm not in a disco, and I think you really can hear me okay. Kicked out of the stadium as the last man there because we were the last to interview both Pedri and De La Fuente at the end of his press conference and at the end of both of them attending to all the other TV channels who were broadcasting live. The summary position is that Spain trained in Madrid at Las Rosas this morning, from my opinion, wanting to keep as few eyes as possible on what they intend to do. I'll tell you right now, I think the formation for the reigning Nations League and European champions will be 4-2-3-1. I think there are debates, there are lots of debates. I think it's Unai Simon, probably Porro at right back. My opinion is that Mbappe, having scored on multiple occasions against the Barca defence starring Pau Cubarsí, my opinion is it's Robin and Lenormand and Dean Howson, newly a Madrid player, at the centre of the defence. At left back, Cucurella. Now, there is a debate about Fabian Ruiz. He was one of those players amongst the 7 who come from Inter and Paris that I talked about before that go to the France squad. Fabian Ruiz is the only Spain player coming in, having been on the lash, that's a very French expression, with Paris since they won in Munich. The coach was a little bit equivocal about whether he plays or not, but one expression he did use is, games like this are in the head, not just in the legs. It's about the brain, it's about the passion to play, and it's about controlling the ball, which tends to me to suggest that although there are other big alternatives, I think it's possible that Fabian Ruiz does play in the 2 with Zubimendi, with the 3 then becoming Lamine on the right, Nico on the left, Alvaro Morata I still think up front, and then the 10. Could be Marino, could be Pedri, could be Olmo. I think he picks Pedri, although that is not Pedri's favourite position in the team. He prefers to be at Pivotti, not 10. Anyway, maybe that's getting too technical. I kind of think France line up with Magnon, right back Kalulu, probably Konate, I guess they're next to him, maybe Longley, at left back probably Teo Hernandez. There's a doubt now about Tchouaméni because he's been on holiday after the Real Madrid season finished. He wasn't carrying an injury. He trained on his own, trotted around the pitch, ran in gutties, runners rather than boots. And then we're not entirely sure that he took part in the training session after the 15 open minutes. But if he's fit, I think it's Tchouaméni and then probably Rabiot. Then the 3 would contain, I guess, Dembo at 10 because Mbappe plays at 9. and then either side, I'm guessing maybe Olise, and then one of either Doué or Barcola. There's your 22 players, my best guess. I think that the simplest things to say are that if Spain don't let their disruption at centre-back and in the defence, Rodri defensive midfielder, Aymeric Laporte missing, Dani Carvajal missing, if they don't let that affect them, they win. If they don't waste the ball and give the ball away, they win. But France are hugely dangerous, hugely confident, electrically quick, and therefore the theme I talked about with Pedri is if Spain are wasteful with the ball, France can do them all kinds of damage. Pitch will be wet, it's still raining here. The game, as you know, in Munich was delayed because of the bad weather. So unfair. It's summertime, come on guys. For me, I'm going to edge it to the European champions, but that's with fingers crossed rather than me saying definitely a Spain win. Stay tuned, thanks for being there.